Story 1: The Two Woodcutters. Honesty is always the best policy. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived two woodcutters, Ben and Leo. Every day, they went into the forest to chop wood to sell at the market. One evening, as they were returning home, Ben realized he had lost his axe. It must have fallen into the deep river on the way home. He was very sad because he could not work without it. Leo, trying to be helpful but not wanting to get wet, said, "The water is too deep and cold. You can never find it now. Just forget about it." But Ben decided to try. He walked back to the river and knelt by the bank, searching the water. To his surprise, a beautiful water spirit appeared, holding a shiny golden axe. "Is this your axe?" the spirit asked. Ben looked at the magnificent golden axe but shook his head honestly. "No, that is not mine. My axe is made of simple iron with a wooden handle." The spirit dove down and came back with a silver axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked again. Again, Ben shook his head. "No, that is not mine either." Finally, the spirit brought up Ben's old, simple iron axe. Ben smiled brightly. "Yes. That is my axe. Thank you so much." The spirit was very impressed by Ben's honesty. "I return your axe to you," she said, "and I give you the golden and silver axes as a reward for your truthfulness." Ben returned to the village with 3 axes. Leo saw him and was amazed by the story. The next day, Leo rushed to the river and threw his own axe into the water on purpose. He then pretended to cry. The spirit appeared, holding the golden axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. "Yes. Yes, that's the one," Leo shouted greedily. The spirit frowned. "You are lying," she said sternly. "And for your dishonesty, you will not get any axe back." She disappeared, leaving Leo with nothing. Leo had to walk home empty-handed, full of regret. Story 2: The Farmer and the Baker. Treat others how you wish to be treated. One good turn deserves another. In a bustling town, there was a farmer named Maria who sold her fresh vegetables at the market. Next to her stall was a baker named Thomas, who sold delicious bread. Every day, the farmer would buy a loaf of bread from Thomas for her lunch. And every day, the baker would look at Maria's basket of fresh vegetables and think, "I wish I had some tomatoes for my soup, but I don't want to pay for them." One morning, the baker had an idea. He decided to hide a smaller loaf of bread under the counter. When Maria came to buy her usual loaf, he quickly gave her the smaller one, keeping the larger one for a better-paying customer. Maria paid the full price, smiled, and went back to her stall without noticing. Later that day, the baker went to Maria's stall. "Those tomatoes look wonderful," he said. "May I have some for my dinner?" "Of course," said Maria. She picked up her scale. Remembering the small loaf of bread, she thought, "He must be having a hard time if he can only make small loaves." So, she secretly placed a small, underripe tomato on the scale to give him less, keeping the best tomatoes for her other customers. The baker took the tomatoes home. That evening, as he made his soup, he found the small, underripe tomato. It tasted sour. He was disappointed. Suddenly, he realized what had happened. He had given Maria a small loaf of bread, and in return, she had given him a bad tomato. He felt a deep shame. He understood that she had simply reflected his own actions back to him. The next day, when Maria came to buy bread, the baker gave her the largest, most beautiful loaf he had ever baked. "Thank you, Thomas. This is so large," Maria said, surprised. "It's my pleasure," the baker replied. And please, take these fresh pastries for your children. From that day on, the farmer and the baker always traded their best products with each other. They both became happier, their businesses prospered, and they became the best of friends. Story 3: The Elephant and the Rope. Moral: never let your past failures limit your future. You are stronger than you think. A man was walking through an elephant camp and noticed that the huge, powerful elephants were not kept in cages or held by heavy chains. Instead, they were tied to a small wooden peg with a thin rope around their leg. He was confused. Why didn't these giant animals just break free? They could easily do it. He asked a trainer nearby, "Why don't the elephants break the rope and run away?" The trainer smiled and explained, "When they are very young and much smaller, we use the same size rope to tie them. At that age, it's strong enough to hold them. They try to break free, but they fail. They try again and again, but the rope is too strong for a baby elephant. Eventually, they stop trying and believe the rope can always hold them." The trainer continued, "Now that they are grown up, they still believe the rope is stronger than they are. They never try to break free again." The man was amazed. The elephants were not held by a rope, they were held by their belief that they could not escape. Story 4: The Starfish Thrower. Moral: small actions matter. You can make a difference, even if it's just to one person, or one starfish. One morning, an old man was walking along the beach after a big storm. The sand was covered with thousands of starfish that had been washed ashore by the waves. The sun was rising, and the starfish were beginning to die. In the distance, the man saw a young boy. The boy was picking up starfish, one by one, and throwing them back into the ocean. The old man walked up to the boy. He said, "There are too many starfish on this beach. You can't possibly make a difference. Your actions won't matter." The boy listened politely. Then he bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it as far as he could into the water. It landed with a soft splash. He turned to the man, smiled, and said, "It mattered to that one." Story 5: The Cracked Pot. Moral: our perceived flaws are often our greatest strengths. Everyone has their own unique purpose. A water bearer had 2 large pots. He hung them on each end of a pole, which he carried across his neck. One pot was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water at the end of the long walk from the stream to the master's house. The other pot had a crack in it. By the time it reached the house, it was only half full. For 2 years, this happened every day. The perfect pot was proud of its accomplishment. But the cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection. It felt miserable that it could only do half of what it was made to do. One day, by the stream, the cracked pot spoke to the water bearer. "I am ashamed of myself. Because of my crack, you have to work twice as hard, and I can only deliver half my load. I am sorry." The water bearer felt compassion for the old pot. He said, "Did you notice the beautiful flowers on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side? That is because I have always known about your flaw. So, I planted flower seeds on your side of the path. Every day, while we walk back, you water those seeds. For 2 years, I have been able to pick those beautiful flowers to decorate my master's table. Without you being just the way you are, he would not have this beauty to grace his house." Story 6: The Lion and the Mouse. Moral: no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. A friend in need is a friend indeed. A mighty lion was sleeping in the forest. A little mouse, not paying attention, ran across the lion's nose. The lion woke up with a roar. He grabbed the tiny mouse with his huge paw. "Please," squeaked the mouse, "please let me go. I didn't mean to wake you. If you spare my life, I will never forget it. Maybe one day I can help you." The lion laughed a great laugh. "You? Help me? You are so small. What could you possibly do for me, the king of the jungle?" But the lion was feeling generous, and the mouse was so small. He decided to let him go. "Very well, run along." The mouse thanked him and scurried away. Weeks later, the lion was walking through the forest. He stepped into a trap set by hunters. A large net fell from a tree, trapping him. The lion roared and struggled, but the ropes were too strong. His roaring was heard by the little mouse. The mouse ran to help. He saw the lion trapped in the net. Without delay, the mouse began to chew on the thick ropes. He chewed and chewed until, one by one, the ropes broke. Soon, the lion was free. "You were right, little friend," said the lion humbly. "I laughed at you because you were small. But today, you saved my life. Thank you."